The land tenure system. We can divide the tenure system into three major portions. The first type of land tenure is the so-called communal land holding system, which is prevalent in the five northern provinces, regions of Ethiopia, namely Gojam, Begemder, Tigray, Wollo, and Eritrea. The second type of land tenure is the so-called private land holding system, and this prevails in the 8 southern, southwestern, and eastern regions of the country. The third type of the land tenure system is the so-called nomadic land tenure system, which prevails in almost all lowland regions of the country. The problems in each of these land tenure systems varied. In the northern communal land holding system, the dominant problem is land fragmentation as a result of residual rights of any claimant who can trace his origin to this area. Fragmentation is the major problem of the communal land holding system. On top of this problem, the Ethiopian Orthodox Church owned large tracts of land in the communal land holding system, on which millions of tenants have been toiling by surrendering a large portion of their produce to the church. In the southern part, where the private land holding system prevailed, all the evils related to private land holding system existed in the southern part of the country where private land holding system prevails. That means one can fairly say that the entire population, the entire peasantry of the southern regions are sharecroppers. They are forced by a legislation to surrender as high as 75% of their produce to their respective possession without any notice whatsoever. Any improvements that have been made by tenants on their piece of land can be taken outright by the landlords without any compensation. Have been converted into government lands. The nomadic people have been driven out from their ancestral lands, and the nomadic lands used to be given the provisional military government pays a great attention to the question of the peasant and to the question of agricultural development. The correct solution of the peasantry and the correct solution of agriculture, what the March 4 declaration nationalizing all rural lands aimed to achieve was to abolish feudal land holding system in all parts of the country, to free itself from oppression and exploitation, and to build a society where equality and justice reign. The March 4 declaration nationalizing all rural lands gave a new hope and a sense of dignity to the broad mass of rural population, and in a remarkably short period of time, the Ethiopian peasantry has been able to establish over 21,000 local peasant associations with a total membership of about 5 million peasant households. The creation of peasant association has changed the picture of rural Ethiopia. Each peasant association as a small organization of the masses are indispensable. Development through cooperation campaigners and other progressive groups have labored to this effect. As a result, the force of the Ethiopian masses has now become almost invincible. As outlined in our National Democratic Revolution program, it is the historic mission of the peasantry to ally itself with the working class in order to ensure the victories of the revolution. To this effect, mass politicization program is underway. Ladies and gentlemen, to concretely state some of the gains achieved, one, in the economic field. A, the feudalistic land tenure has been completely abolished. Nowhere in Ethiopia can one see landlord-tenant relationship with all its evil faces of collecting rents or forcing the peasant to render feudal services. In short, the Ethiopian peasant has been able to realize the fruit of his labor for the sole benefit of his family and himself. The nomadic population whose land has been confiscated by the emperor's constitution are being reinstated to their ancestral lands, and massive efforts are being made to introduce them to sedentary form of agriculture. This is its demands and its political aspirations. The people's militia, which was a direct outcome of the people's struggle, of the struggle of the peasantry against feudal landlords, has been legalized by subsequent legislation issued to strengthen the spirit and purpose of March 4 Declaration. The people landlords. This resistance and sabotage range from actual armed resistance to disrupt agricultural production. Some reactionary elements of the bureaucracy were actively involved. We have been able to stand this reaction through the united efforts of all progressive forces. In terms of the achievement of the revolution, we can fairly say that a firm foundation has been laid down: political, economical, legal, institutional, all necessary for transforming the rural sector. What awaits us ahead is a period of mass construction. During this period, massive efforts will be made to further strengthen the peasant association and to form cooperative societies. The Ethiopian labor force will be mobilized to the extent possible to increase productivity of lands already under cultivation and to open new areas of settlement. The state farms, as a higher mode of production, will be given serious consideration to create job opportunities and to obtain surplus food and cash crops. Efforts will be made to base our agriculture on the principle of self-reliance. And finally, development program shall be made to address itself to the needs of the masses and will be carried on through mass participation. Ladies and gentlemen, in brief, what has been achieved by the March 4 Declaration has been outlined above, and what challenged the Ministry of Agriculture and Settlement and the government as a whole is to transform large unutilized areas of the country which has never been settled in the past. Through this, we feel we can stand the problem of unemployment in the urban areas, and also
by and large do a marketing activity, that is, they buy fertilizers from our department, from our agents.
land tenure system. We
marketing activity that is they buy fertilizers from our department, from our agents. At an early stage are the producer cooperatives. These are cooperatives where farmers pool their land together and they pool their resources together, and this is at a very early stage, but over the last 1 year we have really got
of our ministry will give a top priority to fully employ the unemployed people, to give work for the people. So this is the main framework. The detailed activities.
That means the emphasis has been on producing more food to feed the people. May I know from the minister to what extent the provisional elected government here, what effort it is making to feed the people by way of producing more food and providing infrastructural facilities for the people, and whether or not, after having fed the people adequately, there is enough food to export to earn more revenue.
And particularly the problem of agriculture was the land reform issue. After the March 4 declaration, the government feels that proper institutional framework for the drastic transformation of the Ethiopian agriculture has been laid down for many years. The land tenure system. We can divide the tenure system into 3 major portions. The first type of land tenure is the so-called communal land holding system, which is prevalent in the 5 northern provinces, regions of Ethiopia, namely Gojam, Begemder, Tigray, Wollo, and Eritrea.